What's happening, guys? Happy Thursday and welcome to the Fabulous Big Bet. I am your host. My name is Memphis. You can follow me on Twitter at DWZ underscore Dr. PT. Wait a minute. That's my host, who's my co host, Kyle, who's not here. You can actually follow me at DWZ Memphis. Going to hit you with some fabulous big bets here in just a second. Want to remind you that we are brought to you by the DWZ Fantasy Football Network and BetUS.com. BetUS.com, official odds provider of the Fabulous Big Bet and the DWZ Fantasy Football Network. If you're looking for action and you're looking for online, maybe you're not able to get to app-based gambling where you reside, good chance you can get in action with our friends over at BetUS.com. How do you do it? Go to BetUS.com. If you're listening to this via podcast, hit pause, go into the show notes, hyperlink right there. You go and use that hyperlink, sign up for an account, you use promo code Memphis, you get the deposit match, you get to help the show, you get an extra out, you get an action. BetUS.com. Come bet with us, BetUS.com. The promo code there is Memphis. Be sure to subscribe over on the YouTube channel. I think we've done a good job taking care of you this season. We have turned the corner, if you will. We're over 500 on the season. I'm going to go through a quick recap, and this will probably be a quicker show without Dr. Kyle to bounce back and forth conversation off of. But let's go through last week's bets real quick. We'll start with my prop. My prop of the week for Thursday Night Football was Big Ben over 1.5 passing touchdowns. I think he had 3. That was a cash winner. So we've been doing the Thursday night prop 2 weeks in a row. We're now 1-1. I've been having a hell of a run on props, especially on football Sunday school. I'm going to have a Thursday night prop for you here in a minute as well. Let's review Dr. Kyle's bets from last week. He had another really, really good week. He finished 4-1. He had Minnesota as his big bet. Minnesota won and covered the 3. He had the over the Kansas City Chiefs team total. Now, that's a bit of a derivative bet, almost like a prop-ish bet for Dr. Kyle, but he did give it out. He did give it out here on the show, and that hit. The Chiefs team total was 29. I think they scored 48. Just absolutely beat the brakes off of the Las Vegas Raiders, so that was another easy cash for him. He had over the first half for Cincinnati and San Francisco. That was a miss for him. I think he missed it by 1 point. That was, I believe, 23, and they scored 22 or something to that effect. He was off by a point. He had over the 42 points for Baltimore and Cleveland. I think he got a little lucky there, a little backdoor cover as Baltimore kind of got hot down the end, but a win's a win. And then he had Dallas laying the 4 against the football team. That got home for him. He finished 4-1. He got his big bet in. So Dr. Kyle, 500 on the season on actual bets, 35, 35, and 1. He is 8-6 on big bets. Now I'll review mine real quick. I also had Minnesota minus the 3. That was a winner for me. I already covered the Big Ben prop. That was another winner for me as well. I had Baltimore teased up to plus 8.5. And I had that teased with the Rams. Now, the Rams won outright, but I had the Rams plus 8.5. Doesn't matter when they win outright, but I had Baltimore and the Rams teased together. I had under Dallas and Washington. I had to sweat that out a little bit. It was like Dallas was going to let them back in, and the game finished 47. The under was 48, so we got home there as well. And then finally, my one miss on the week, I had the under in the Denver and Detroit game. Kind of a bad beat, sub 2 minutes. And I thought, man, Vic Fangio, old school coach, he's up 31-10. We're at 41 points. I was like, they'll get this first down and they'll kneel it out and end the game. But no, sure enough, they scored that final touchdown inside the final 2 minutes. So I don't want to call that a bad beat, because you'll find if you gamble enough, the bad beats balance themselves out. Because I feel like I got a little lucky with Baltimore playing Huntley at quarterback. So got away with that one. But again, overall, good week for me. 4-1 for me, 4-1 for Dr. Kyle. On the season, I am 36, 31 and 1, 5 games above 500, and I am 9-5 on my big bets. So on the week, Dr. Kyle and I on our bets finished 8-2. On the season on our big bets, we are 17-11. And then season to date total bets were 71, 66, and 2. I won't remind you who has +5 wins to be carrying this team. On leans last week, Dr. Kyle leaned to New Orleans, and New Orleans did, in fact, cover the 5 against the Jets. Kyle also leaned to Houston and Buffalo. Kind of caught a bad beat with Buffalo. That game went to overtime. They battled back. Tampa Bay's done that twice this year. They did it against the Colts. They were laying 3.5 in Indy. Both games went to overtime, and you're just like, okay, cool. Kick the field goal, Tampa Bay, win the game by 3, so my 3.5 covers. And, of course, they scored the outright touchdown. They did it against the Colts with Leonard Fournette, and they did it with Brashad Perriman against the Buffalo. So that was a miss for him on the lean. He finished 1-2 on leans. I leaned under Kansas City and the Raiders. Hell, Kansas City hit the over by themselves. It was 48. They scored 48. Thank God Oakland scraped together a few points to kick me in the junk. I had New Orleans as well. I considered Atlanta a teaser leg. They won outright, and I leaned over in the Tampa Bay and Buffalo game. So I went 3-1 on leans. We do keep track of them, even though they're not official bets. On the season, we're 61-55 on leans, and then total on the season across everything, 132-121, 11 games above 500. So not too bad. If you listen to a lot of other professional gambling podcasts, which we're not professionals, I'm a production manager at a manufacturing facility. Dr. Kyle is a doctor of physical therapy, but for a couple of guys who take this extremely seriously, you listen to the pros out there. This is on par with what a lot of guys are doing. So we're super proud of that, and we're super proud of our sponsor again, BetUS.com. If you've always wanted to get in action and couldn't, I highly recommend BetUS.com. Great customer service. They will email you, or you can email them. They will call you, and very, very helpful. However you want to be communicated with. Can't recommend the customer service at BetUS enough. Again, that's BetUS.com. There's a hyperlink in the show notes. So again, come bet with us, BetUS.com, and use promo code Memphis. All right, let's run through this week's slate, the COVID slate. Now, most of these odds are brought to you by the good folks at BetUS.com. Some of them, because the lines are not up at BetUS.com, I had to augment with DraftKings Sportsbook. So I'm going to run through these. COVID is going to be weird. So if you're listening to this, you like any of this, you better get going before the next COVID outbreak hits, and you could be on the wrong side of good action. First game, Thursday night football. We have the Kansas City Chiefs as a road favorite going to LA. The Chargers are getting 3 points at home. Both me and Dr. Kyle are using this as a teaser leg. Now, Dr. Kyle is going to tease the Chargers up to +9. I am going to do the same thing. We both understand this is not a true Wong teaser, but it is a bet that I love. I don't see Kansas City getting this much margin against LA, especially at home. And I think LA could win this game outright, but I do like him as a teaser leg. Dr. Kyle is going to tease them with the New England Patriots. Patriots getting 2.5 at Indianapolis. So he's going to tease New England up to +8.5 to pair with the Chargers. I am going to pair the Chargers with the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are going to Denver. They're getting 2.5 on the road, and I'm going to tease Cincinnati up to +8.5. Who the hell is Teddy Bridgewater to be given any team that many points? I know Denver's looked good at home, but I've also seen him get boat raced at home by the Philadelphia Eagles. So I think the wrong team's favored, but I'm going to put this in a teaser leg. So I'll recap that at the end. So that's Thursday night. Saturday football. We have the Las Vegas Raiders going to Cleveland. Cleveland is actually getting a point at home. This number has flipped a full touchdown thanks to COVID news. Cleveland was Cleveland was -6 when the line initially came out Tuesday morning. And now because of Stefanski having COVID and Baker having COVID and Case Keenum starting, the line has moved a full touchdown and Cleveland's getting one. I'm going to tease Cleveland. It's going to be my second of 3 teasers this week. I'm going to tease Cleveland up to +8, and I'm going to tease them with Philly. Philly is giving 7 points at home to an equally COVID-ravaged Washington football team. I'm going to tease Philly down to +1. There is concerns that Jalen Hurts has the high ankle sprain, and he may not be able to go. But we do know that Philly has a capable backup in Gardner, the mustache Minshew. And speaking of quarterbacks and backups, we know that Tyler Hennike was banged up after last week against Dallas, and their backup quarterback, Kyle Allen, has some COVID issues of his own. So if Heineke is unable to go, they may be down to a third stringer whose name I don't remember, but I believe he went to Vanderbilt. And I'm a dynasty nerd. Not part of the dynasty nerds, but I'm a dynasty degenerate. I love dynasty fantasy football. I know most of these guys, and I don't even remember this guy's name. So third string quarterback potentially, Philadelphia at home, teasing them down to 1, pairing them with Cleveland also at home. The difference between Baker Mayfield and Case Keenum is minute. And I understand there's also some offensive line issues. Kevin Stefanski will not be there, but we've seen this movie before. We saw Case Keenum have to come in for Baker on Thursday Night Football when a much better than the Raiders Denver Broncos came to town, and Cleveland was able to take care of business. So for me, I liked Cleveland outright, but I'm going to tease them. I'm going to tease them with Philly, and that's my second of 2 teasers. The other Saturday night game, going to be a great game. New England at Indianapolis. Indy laying 2.5, total of 45. This just tells you the respect that Vegas and the bookmakers have for Indy. I wanted to put some action on the Colts. I just tend to avoid my favorite team. Uncle Bill, as I like to call him, Uncle Bill Belichick likes to take away what you do best, but I don't know that New England's that great against the rush. They're in the middle of the pack. They're like 14th, giving up the 14th most rush yards on the season, and they've not really faced that many good running backs. The best running backs they faced this year would have been Cleveland, but both Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb missed that game. When they played the Cowboys running backs of Pollard and Zeke Elliott, they combined for over 100 yards. And then when they played the Chargers, Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson combined for over 140 yards. Now you're going to see the Colts offensive line at home, Jonathan Taylor. I think this is a good line. And if the Colts get up early, this could be in trouble, because then you're going to force Mac Jones to play comeback football. So I guess if I put anything, I would lean Indy minus the 2.5 at home. I wouldn't lay it at 3, but 2.5 is a decent number. Let's move to Sunday, 1:00 football. We have, again, the Washington football team going to Philly. Philly laying 7, 44 points on the total. Again, that's part of a teaser leg. Again, I'm teasing Cleveland up to +8, Philly down to -1. New York Jets on the road at Miami. Miami laying a 10 spot. Now, I have nothing on this game. Neither does Dr. Kyle. Feels like a big number. The -10 was on betus.com, and the number was 8.5 on DraftKings. So I guess if you like the Jets and that big number, maybe look to DraftKings. Look to betus.com and use promo code Memphis. But if you like Miami, you may shop around. There may be a better number out there. Dallas going on the road to the New York Football Giants. The Cowboys laying 11.5. Total on the game, 44.5. I really got nothing. I'd love to think Daniel Jones could play, but I think they'll probably wind up shutting Daniel Jones down. Dallas's defense is too good. I wouldn't lay the lumber, which is why I wouldn't touch the New York Giants here, but not really a game that I'm on. Next game, Tennessee going on the road. They're a road favorite in Pittsburgh. This one kind of surprised me a little bit, but Tennessee on the road, 1-point favorite. So Pittsburgh's getting 1 at home, Total on the game, 41.5. This is a bet for Dr. Kyle. He has taken Pittsburgh plus the 1. This is going to be my third of 3 teasers. I'm going to tease Pittsburgh up to plus 8, and I'm going to pair them with Houston. I'm going to tease Houston up to plus 9 against the Jaguars. I'll get into that game in a second. I mean, I know Tennessee won 20-0 last week, and I know that Pittsburgh lost on the road, but Pittsburgh got 10 days rest. And Tennessee's 20-0 victory really wasn't that impressive against the hapless Jacksonville Jaguars team, even though they pitched a shutout. Maybe I'd lean to the over here. I'm not going to put that down as a lean. I just know that Pittsburgh offense can score. This will be an ugly game. I think I would understand this line a little bit more if Derrick Henry were in the game, but he's not. They've been getting some usefulness out of Deonta Foreman. But yeah, for me, I'm going to tease Pittsburgh up to plus 8, and I'm going to pair them with this next game. Houston going on the road to Jacksonville. I don't know how in the blue hell Jacksonville is laying points even at home. Horrible home field for Jacksonville. Come out today that allegedly not Michael Myers, he might as well be as much as he's vilified. Urban Meyer allegedly kicked former kicker Josh Lambo. All the stuff about calling the assistant head coaches losers. I'll tell you, I think Houston has less talent than Jacksonville, but at least those guys are playing hard for David Culley. And, you know, those guys are at least acting like professionals. I think Davis Mills is not having a bad season. I know this ruffles the feathers of Bears fans, but Davis Mills on the season has a better QBR. And that's a stat that Vegas uses, has a better QBR on the season than Justin Fields. I'm not saying Davis Mills is a better quarterback than Justin Fields. It just means that I think I'm getting the better playing rookie quarterback for sure. The stats would validate that. I'm getting a better team, a more motivated team, and I think Jacksonville has officially quit on Urban Meyer. So I'm going to tease Houston up to plus 9, pair him with Pittsburgh plus 8. And the lowest total on the board in this game, by the way, 40.5. Next game, Carolina going on the road to face Buffalo in Buffalo. 10.5 point game. Maybe we get Sam Darnold back. Maybe I don't give a rat's ass. Total in the game's 43.5. I had nothing on that. Neither does Dr. Kyle. Dr. Kyle has a bet on the final 1 p.m. game. Arizona going on the road, short work week, going to Detroit, and they're laying 13.5. Total on the game, 47.5. And I got to be honest, I can't get behind Kyle's over of the 47.5. The Arizona Cardinals just lost DeAndre Hopkins, it looks like, for the rest of the regular season. Detroit's offense could be without DeAndre Swift and TJ Hawkinson. And even though Detroit could turn the ball over, I just see a lot of slow. This is the kind of game where if you're Arizona, you just want to get the dub and get out of there. You're not worried about margin. You're not worried about score. I see this being very similar to the game last week. Could they get to 48? Sure, they could. I just don't think that Detroit's going to be able to score, and I don't think Arizona wants to. Arizona knows they have a tough Saturday night matchup against the Colts at home on Christmas night. Not that this is a huge look ahead spot because Arizona and Indy aren't in the same division or even conference, but they know that's a tough game on their schedule. And if the LA Rams continue to keep pace and the Cardinals were to lose to the Colts, that could put the division in question. So he's got over 47.5. I really have nothing on the game. Sunday, 4 o'clock window. We have Atlanta going on the road to San Francisco. San Francisco laying 10. I'm going to lean to Atlanta there. It's a big number. San Francisco looked good, but man, Atlanta, they're in the playoff mix too. 6-7, not looked horrible lately, and we'll see. We'll see how San Francisco holds up, but I wouldn't officially lay 10, but I think I would lean to taking the 10 with Atlanta if you can get it. I know it was that on betus.com at the recording of the show. We've already talked about Cincinnati going to Denver. This is Dr. Kyle's big bet. He is going big bet on Cincinnati plus the 2.5. For me, it's part of my teaser. I'm getting the worse head coach, but I'm getting the better quarterback. I'm getting the better offense, and I think Cincinnati's defense is a little underrated. It's late enough in the season that I don't think the mile high is the advantage that it would be in, say, September. So it's part of my teaser, which is my big bet, by the way. That is my big bet. I'm teasing Cincinnati with the Chargers plus the 9 on Thursday night. We have Seattle and the Rams. I know the Rams continue to get beat up by COVID. The Rams are laying 4.5 at home, total of 45. Dr. Kyle had a lean to the over there, and I can get behind that. The Seattle offense has looked better. The Rams offense looked really sharp. No turnovers on Monday night against the Cardinals, and they're at home. The Rams have historically played well against Seattle and this Seattle team, but 45 is not a lot. To think 21-24, that gets you a push, and 27-21 gets you the money. So I can see where Dr. Kyle would lean to the over. We have Green Bay going on the road to Baltimore, laying 5. Even if you get Lamar, he's going to be limited, and this is a good spot if you like Green Bay. I would get it now because this number is going to go down a little bit if Lamar is officially active. I think the line to me, this is just how I interpret it. I think this line to me is to say that the line makers think that the Baltimore Ravens will have Lamar. I don't think they will, and if they do, he'll be very limited. And if Lamar were to be a scratch, I think this line jumps to double digits. So if you're looking for value, I would get down on Green Bay now. They're in first place in the NFC with the Arizona loss the other night, and they got to keep winning to keep that number 1 spot. Tampa Bay's not too far behind them, and Tampa Bay has the head-to-head win over Green Bay. So I think you'll get a motivated Green Bay to beat Baltimore, especially with a limited Lamar Jackson. Sunday night game, we have a double bet. We have New Orleans going on the road to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay given 11. I know it's Taysom Hill, but I also know that New Orleans, who has already beat Tampa Bay once this year, is like the house of horrors for Tom Brady. He is 1-3 since becoming a Buccaneer. The one win was in the playoffs last year, so it was a critical win, but this is just too big of a number. Even with Taysom Hill, I'm going to take the 11 points and say Tampa Bay is just going to be happy to get out of there with a W against a team that they have struggled with since Tom Brady has been the quarterback. And then finally, Minnesota going on the road favorite, Minnesota, going to Chicago, laying 3.5, 44 on the total. Dr. Kyle had nothing. I'm going over the total. I rattled off last week that Minnesota has just been an over machine lately. You added to the fact that last Sunday night, the Bears offense didn't look horrible, but the Bears special teams and defense looked really good. And let's be honest, Kirk Cousins in primetime been known to turn the ball over a little bit, especially on the road. Minnesota did have the extra rest. They're going to have 11 days, I believe. They last played on Thursday Night Football. We're going to stretch that all the way out to Monday Night Football. So a big rest advantage for Minnesota, but I wouldn't dare venture a guess on Minnesota. The Bears offense looked capable. Allen Robinson was back. They've got Monty there, Mooney, Fields, although not playing great, looks capable. So I could see this being somewhere in the neighborhood of it's Minnesota 31-24. It wouldn't surprise me if they had to score 30 points to get the win with Chicago. And Chicago's a little feisty, so I'm going over. So let's recap these bets, and we'll get you out of here. Let's go Dr. Kyle's first. He's starting off with a teaser. He is teasing the Chargers up to +9. He is going to tease them with New England plus 8.5. So New England plus 8.5, Chargers plus 9. His second bet, Pittsburgh plus the 1 at home against Tennessee. He is going over 47.5 points with Arizona going to Detroit. And his big bet is Cincinnati getting the 2.5 at Denver. And his final bet of the week is New Orleans plus 11 points on the road at Tampa Bay. I have 3 teasers. My first teaser is my big bet, the LA Chargers. I'm taking them plus 9 at home against the Chiefs, and I'm teasing them with Cincinnati. I'm teasing Cincinnati up to plus 8.5 to pair with the Chargers. My second teaser is Cleveland +8 at home against the Raiders. And they might be the Ravers now that they're in Las Vegas, but Cleveland +8 at home against the Raiders. And I'm teasing Philly down to -1 against the football team. My third teaser, my final teaser, is I'm teasing Pittsburgh up to +8, and I'm pairing them with Houston, who I am teasing from +3 to +9. I am also going to take New Orleans plus the 11, and I'm going to go over 44 points, Minnesota and Chicago. So there you go. It's a quickie. Dr. Kyle out there gallivanting around. He was in Vegas last weekend, posting tickets from the Circus Sportsbook, living his best life. And if he'd listened to his boy, he would have done well, because he was going crazy. I got one question in the chat. It's from my good man, Mr. Mike Kinney. Supports almost every single video we do at the DWZ. So he's like, how do you feel about Aaron Rodgers plus 800 on the MVP? I got to be honest with you, Mike. Had it not been for the whole COVID snafu, I think you could. But the media votes on that award, and it's a subjective award. And they feel like Aaron jacked them around, and they were made to look like idiots. So even though I think Aaron Rodgers is playing better football than Tom, not by a lot. Don't get it twisted. Not by a lot do I think he's playing better, but I do think in the grand scheme of things, I think he's playing great. And he's dealt with a lot of offensive line injuries to Aaron Jones, COVID with Devontae Adams. They went into Arizona missing 11 players due to COVID and came out with a W. So I think the overall body of work is a little bit more impressive for Aaron Rodgers, but I think because they feel like he jacked him around, he won't get it. So there you go. And my prop bet, where are my manners? I am going Clyde. This is a DraftKings prop, but I'm going Clyde Edwards-Helaire over 2.5 receptions. For me, this is a number. He's hit 2 weeks in a row. He's made me the money 2 weeks in a row. I'm going to keep going back to that well. So I'm going Clyde Edwards-Helaire over 2.5 receptions. It's plus $1.25 over at DraftKings Sportsbook. I like that. I especially like it in a game. I was a little concerned last week when they got up way fast on the Raiders and they started to mix in Gore and more Darrell Williams. But I think in a game like this, where it will be much more competitive, I think we'll continue to see more CEH in the passing game. And he's had 3 receptions in 4 of his 8 games played. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire over 2.5 receptions, Thursday night football prop of the week. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show on YouTube. Man, leave us a subscribe. Hit me with a thumbs up. Drop a comment. Interact with us, man. That's how we grow the show. Leave us a rating and a review. All the shows on the on the Dynasty Warzone network. We're going to have rookie content, a lot coming up this off season. So if you can't support our sponsor, betus.com, maybe you're not into gambling, or we have a Patreon and we're supported by an athletic apparel company. You know what? If that's not in a position this holiday season where you can support us financially, you would be stunned what a like, a thumbs up, a comment on YouTube, a subscribe on YouTube, a review on iTunes, all of those things go a tremendously long, that's not even good English. They go a really long way to helping out us and the show and helping us continue to grow it to find new people. But speaking of people, you're good people. Thanks for supporting us. And remember, here at the Fabulous Big Bet, money won is twice as sweet as money earned. We'll see you next week for some Week 16 big bets. Thank you.